This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
So let's go to the news of the day from the people who want to give us a call. I am going to talk to, I believe, which line is it, Dave? I can't see you there. Yeah. So we're going to go to line 2, and if I can find my clicker this morning, Monday morning, of course, we got Jen on line 2. Jen, welcome to Open Line.
Oh, hi, Darren. This is Jen Dion calling. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Darren, you might have been on the West Coast when it all went down, but back in the day, I was out talking a lot about the fact that we were caring for 3 elderly parents here in my home. So we did that for many years. My dad, Rod Dion, was the last one to pass at 102. And we did that with a combination of adapting our home and a home care staff, which was fantastic. Out of that now, I have looked at my next endeavor, and that is to offer senior services in the same way that I provided to my parents. But I have a question today for Open Line. We've been for over a year pursuing this. And government, I don't think your listeners know that government has to license all people who provide home care and through an agency in the province. But those licenses for new agencies, for new applications, have in fact been frozen for almost 10 years. And we have, as you know, one of the largest senior populations in Canada, almost 25% of our province. I'm at the point now where I'm quite frustrated because we have been trying to get an answer as to when they are going to allow more services in our region, and we're being stonewalled. So I thought I would ask it publicly.
Yeah, Jen, let me ask you this then, because, and you can maybe clarify the difference, but we see senior care facilities popping up, even in the last 5 years or so forth. Are you suggesting that these are previously licensed operations that are just opening new facilities, or is there something else happening, or are you talking about a different stream of supports?
We're talking about a different stream. I'm talking about care for seniors in their own home.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when a senior wants to age in place independently, which the majority of folks do, or if you have left hospital suddenly and you need some supports in place right away in order for you to recover at home, or in situations where care is being provided by family members and they just need some respite. So it's bringing in home care workers into your home in what's called personal care. So, so there's all kinds of things you can do for seniors. But once you cross the line into helping them get dressed, helping them get bathed, providing physical assistance, that is considered personal care. You can go in and cook and clean and provide companion care. But in order to do whatever is called personal care, that is licensed under provincial legislation.
And you're saying there's been no new entities licensed in the past 10 years to provide that kind of care?
That's right.
Wow.
And of course, we have some wonderful existing agencies, but as you may have seen, all of them are short-staffed. I mean, every time you turn around, there's an ad for another, please come work with us at such and such agency, or, the other one.
There's all kinds of, I see them driving down the road, signs at different home care facilities looking for workers all the time. But, it seems to me that that is a huge step backwards given the fact of our aging population. And of course, it would seem to me as well, and maybe there's others smarter than me at this, but it would seem to me it'd be much more economically efficient to have somebody go into a senior's home and provide them the necessary care as often as they need it than housing them somewhere.
Well, that's definitely true. And, not everybody, there's various levels. Our publicly funded long-term care facilities are certainly in a backlog. And even so, there are certainly ways to age in place. I think my experience has proved that. We put in some minor renovations to our home that made it safer for seniors to age in place, just some basic little things. And there's no reason you can't deliver care. All three of the parents in my life passed away in their home with us around them. And obviously we were at a relatively medically complex time by that point. But there are ways to do it. And, just what I'm trying to do with my new business is provide that for other families, provide the same kind of care. And there's definitely room for it. We actually have clients now that we deliver what's called companion care. And you can imagine how thin the line is when we're in a senior's home and there's certain jobs that our workers are allowed to do and are insured and covered to do, but then they cannot cross the other line. And that's a very precarious place for us to have to refuse service to seniors who want it in their home.
Yeah, it puts them in an awkward position, of course, and then and it's all about relationships as well, of course, because the seniors want to feel that they have a comfortable relationship with the worker, and you have to stand there and tell them, no, I can't help you with that. Then you've created a situation in the home that you don't want to get into, of course. But it seems to me, and look, and I don't know, maybe this is a little different and off the subject, but I know in other provinces there's funding provided to families to support seniors to stay either with the family or in the home or what have you. And then, of course, there's other care that comes in when it's necessary. Do we have the same standard as other provinces, or are we behind in that?
I couldn't speak to that myself, but I do know that there is the provincial home support program that provides funding to certain below a certain income threshold for seniors that subsidizes care to come into your home, either through an agency or through hiring people yourself. It's called self-managed care. I have a lot of experience with that because that's what we did for my parents. But that is the other issue that we could talk about, of course, is the chronic undercompensation of home care workers. Yeah. It's a very clear reason why recruitment is an issue for so many agencies, is because the wages that they pay are just really, really low. And that is benefits. A reflection of the amount of funding that comes in from government. There's only so much funding to pay the people, so it's really difficult if you don't have the money to pay more. Our agency, interestingly, is not going to be availing of the home support program. Our rates are so high. We're sort of a premium service agency. And the only reason we're doing that is because my business partner is one of my old home care workers. She's a Ukrainian woman. She comes from the background of knowing how workers are underappreciated. So our agency is set up with a model that compensates slightly higher, but that's neither here nor there.
So Jen, on your issue, the licensing issue, if I could, on your issue, the licensing issue, and the I guess the 10-year freeze that's been on that, have you been speaking to the Department of Health about this? Is there any headway being made on this issue?
Well, yes, I have been speaking, and no, there is no headway. We have been speaking with them since last August. The entryway are representatives through NL Health Services, but for over a month now, I've been kicking this up to the Department of Health and the Minister's office, who I deeply respect, Minister Evans, and the work that she is doing, and I know that she has a busy plate. But we're just not getting anything back. There's no indication of when these licenses are going to open up. We're obviously ready to go in our situation, but on a broader issue, it's just why is the freeze going on so long?
Yeah. Yeah.
The review that they had in place, the reason why they shut it down, of course, was to review the home care standards, which have not been updated since 2005. But a fulsome report came out from Deloitte in 2016, which is why they shut it down. They said, okay, we've got this report. We're going to shut down applications.
A lot of concerns in that report, too, hey?
Well, just ways to do it better, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the route you need, is the way to do it better. You're right. Yeah.
Right. But there's no way 9 years needs to take place to get those standards revised and updated. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Jen, keep us updated on this. Keep up the fight, because I look at families around this province, I'm sure, are keen to hear what happens here and may not like you. And I'm glad you brought it, because I've never heard of that, but a 10-year freeze on being able to offer that extended care to seniors. And we have a growing seniors population, growing needs, of course, and families under heavy pressure these days, financially and, just work-wise and so forth, as all the supports that can be gotten through the agencies that are prepared to offer them should be available, and we shouldn't curtail any type of supports for our seniors that need those supports. And I appreciate your calling this morning, Jen. Anything else you want to say before we clue up?
No, just to thank you for letting me air the issue, and hopefully this will spur some movement.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Right now, we are going to go to line one, where I have Chess. Chess, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody. First time talking to you.
Excellent.
You're doing a good job.
I appreciate it.
I got a question for you. I feel like I'm bombarded out of the Avalon Mall for no reason. I don't do nothing. And I goes downstairs, like to do a bit of shopping downstairs. And here I am today, my blood pressure's up on bus, tears coming out of my eye, and because there's too much perfume spray downstairs.
Yeah, they sell a lot of perfume down there, and of course, people are sampling it all the time. That's they're going to do that in a commercial atmosphere, of course, and permitted to do so. So, I mean, the best thing you can do is try to avoid it as best as possible, because I know that there's kiosks there. I'm not even sure if there's actual stores, but I smell it myself when I go in.
I tell you, but yesterday was so bad yesterday,
Yeah. Well, it's getting warmer now.
Complained about it, burned their eyes, right? Everybody's complained about it, burned their eyes, right?
Yeah. I don't know if there was something in particular going on yesterday that would make it worse than normal, but that's what they sell over there for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they're doing a bad job of letting that smell into a store. Especially a lot of people got lung problems and everything else, right? Like me, right?
Yeah.
I can't bring, it's barring me from the Avalon Mall, because I can't go downstairs to buy what I want to buy. And, I'm here falling down and everything this morning, too, because of this spray yesterday.
Yeah, no, it is difficult. And of course, that's what they sell. That's part of the business inside the mall. And, you're not going to ban perfume or commercial enterprise inside the mall. So it's, they got that sort of.
You got to do something with it, right?
Well, I don't know if they do, maybe. But, one of the things about the mall is a private business, and it's selling space to commercial vendors who can sell their wares. And as long as they're legal to sell in this province and the country, they're free to take their money to let them set up and sell whatever it is they want. Now, of course, it is no good for you, and it's probably no good for a lot of other people that have either allergies or some sort of sensitivities regarding it. But man, the best thing you can do is avoid it, I suppose. Hey.
Stay out of the mall. They won't get
Stay out of the mall. They won't get your business. And they know that. In Chess, they know that. They've taken that and said, well, the value of the vendor to sell the perfume and to do the sampling, we're going to take that risk on losing Chess and some other people. And of course, now there are parts of the mall now, Chess, and I don't I only go to the mall a couple times a year, and I don't spend a lot of time in there. They got some great stuff on there, and I'm sure I'm missing out on some things because they've expanded in a huge way over over the past few years that offering a lot more stuff. But I was into what I'll call the winner's end of the mall. You know what I mean? Down that new section. I was in there by Sports Check, down that area. I went into Sports Check and looking for something, and I noticed that was a different area of the mall, and I didn't notice anything there. But I do know where you're talking about, where the kiosks set up and so forth, and they do sell the perfumes and so forth. So, maybe
down this piece of the escalator stairs there, right?
Yeah.
Come down over, right?
Yeah. So,
and when you hit the top of the stairs, bang, man.
Yeah.
Wicked.
You're gonna have to avoid the escalators down through the food court and go down the other end of the mall and come in the other way now, and go as far as you can, I suppose.
See, I use the Metro bus to get back and forth.
Yeah.
There used to be a bus shelter down there, a bus stop by Winners. They took it out of there and they moved it right up top. So that means if I got to get out for the Winners, I got to get off the top of the hill and walk down. And especially now, one of my eyes are gone blind, right? I'm blind in one eye now, right?
Yeah.
Now I got to walk down, and the traffic in there, they'll run you over, my son.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a walk down from the top too, hey?
Yes.
Yeah, not good in the wintertime.
If you're blind in one eye, right?
Yeah,
right.
Not good for anybody in the wintertime as well. Yeah, so maybe you should reach out to the mall, call the mall number, and say, look, that's we want to go down there, but it's a long walk and it's difficult for traffic. That the bus stop probably needs to be closer to the mall entrance than it is. I know the one at the top there on the other side is pretty close.
Yeah.
About as close as it can be, really, right along the side of the parking lot there. Yeah.
Then if you get off there, you got to walk right down. I can't go in that part of the mall with the smell of the perfumes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
When I go into grocery stores, I stay away from the detergents and all that, right?
Now, when I go into the food court end of it, all I can smell is the fried chicken and the French fries. Yeah, I don't smell perfume. So maybe you should just avoid the escalator area and go around the other side. Go down through there. There's lots of stores down through the mall, up and top and down below. But you're going to smell the perfume in there. That's for sure. They sell it there.
Oh, yeah, you can smell them. I go, oh, my God, but I tell you, those people in there rubbing the T-shirt in their eyes, get it out of their eye. And their bag was there yesterday.
Chess, was there a time in your life you didn't mind the smell of perfume?
Yeah, I know. Now, see, the last 20 years, I can't be using it, right? Can't be around it.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't use it in the house because I'm not allowed to buy it, right?
Yeah.
I got to stay clear of it, right?
Many places you go to now are scent free, right? They like most offices and places of business are scent free, but the mall's not because they have vendors that sell perfumes. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, but it shouldn't be allowed into a mall like that. That people, your mother could be there, or you could be allergic to it. And somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, right? It should have some kind of a way to take some of that smell out, right?
You should check with the mall, because maybe there's some sort of ventilation system that could like a range style hood sort of thing you have for your stove that could help with that. Maybe if they're concerned enough, like if it matters to them enough, they may look into doing something like that to help anybody affected, for sure. But look, I remember the last few years of my mother's life, she was very sensitive to perfumes and deodorant smells and all kinds of things like that. Really bothered her eyes and all that. And I know it can be debilitating, for sure. I understand, but I don't know, like in a commercial business like that, if much can be done. But you should give the mall a call and let them know your concerns, especially about that bus stop there and the smell of the perfumes. It's not for everybody.
Yeah. No, it's not for everybody. No, right? Because someone told me I should phone the Department of Health and just to see.
Well, maybe, or occupational health and safety or something like that. I don't know if there's any actual danger from it or not. I mean, I've never heard of that, other than personal, people have allergies to all kinds of different things that are not banned, too, right?
I got allergies too, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's airborne allergies and there's airborne allergies and contact allergies too, right? So but people that have those, they just I think they, for the most part, try to protect themselves by staying away from areas that they know of concern. But there are places that are free of those sorts of things that are safe spaces. and so forth.
Yeah.
But Jess, you should give them all a call and let them know those concerns and see if they see how they respond. If they respond to you, let us know how they responded to you and see where you are with that. But now I hear you. It's a good point you make.
Yeah, because there was a lot of people there yesterday and to go through the other door because they couldn't stand the smell of it.
Yeah.
They burned their eyes too.
Yeah,
Right?
and something strange somebody might have spilled something yesterday too, because I've noticed the smell, but I've never been overwhelmed by it. Now I don't know if I have any sensitivity to it. I don't think so, but maybe something happened. Maybe somebody dropped a big bottle of it and it smashed and went everywhere, and there was no getting it out of the air yesterday. Who knows, right?
No.
Was it worse yesterday than you ever noticed before?
No, you want to go down there on a Sunday afternoon. Then you would tell a different story.
Yeah, maybe so. Hey, yeah.
You would tell a different story, man.
Well, a lot of people go in the mall on the weekend. That's for sure. So I'd say there'd be a lot of people checking out the perfume and spraying it and testing it and getting a sniff of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jess.
Keep up the good work, me buddy.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Okay, we are going to go back to the lines, and I have on line 3 Cody. Good morning, Cody. How you doing?
It's going pretty good, buddy. How are you?
Not too bad, sir. What are you calling about this morning?
So I'm calling about Marine Atlantic. I left Bay Roberts yesterday morning because I was catching the boat this morning, and I stayed at Corner Brook, so I would have a shorter drive. And they texted, or they sent out an email at 1 o'clock in the morning, which everyone was asleep, of the boat got canceled. So that's fine and dandy. We end up calling Marine Atlantic at like 8 o'clock after it opened up to ask when we was getting rescheduled. They had no answers for us, not even an idea. So I'm stuck out here now on the west coast, and I don't know, should I get a hotel? Should I go back to Bay Roberts? Is it going to be 2 days, 3 days? There's no word, and I'm still here waiting.
That's incredible. So have you tried again since 8 o'clock to get an update, or have you checked emails or anything like that regarding your crossing?
They specifically said not to call us back, and they would send us out an email. So we've been waiting, and there's been nothing. So it's me, my wife, my new baby, and we're stuck out here. And I'm already got to cancel the next hotel over Nova Scotia. So it's just a total headache. They should have this pre-planned. They already knew the boat was malfunctioning over Nova Scotia, so they should. They should have said, okay, if they're going to divide up the passengers to make it available, say, okay, it's 2 or 3 days. Give us just a word, anything.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of advice on the status of the repairs. So that was the case, was it? It was mechanical. The boat is still in Nova Scotia, or was still in Nova Scotia, I guess, getting that work done. And of course, nothing is happening. This is the Port aux Basques, North Sydney run, of course. So you're just in limbo. You're hanging there. You're obviously. Do you have significant timelines to get to the other side, or are you? How much does it inconvenience you other than you're stuck in limbo?
Well, we had a hotel in Glasgow. We had a hotel booked in Edmonton because I've got a young child. He's only 5 months old, so we wanted to break it up in shorter drives. So all of these hotels now, they got the short notice. They can't cancel it. So we're out all that money, right? So it's after, and I got to get back to work on Monday coming.
Man.
So it's actually, I gave myself lots of time to get there too, right?
Yep.
And it seems like if they're not contacting me back with another date, I don't know to book another hotel here, or should I just drive back?
Yeah.
I'm up in limbo.
I'd call them back if I were you. If they haven't sent you anything yet, I would call them back and say, boys, what is the status? Because I'm here. I've got money on the line. I got a family waiting. I need to know whether I should go back to Bay Roberts and try again, or if I should hang on. And that's the best thing. We'll reach out to Marine Atlantic and see if we can get an update on what's happening with that vessel has some repairs. And you got a notice last night that said it was mechanical, and it was it's over in Nova Scotia still, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It was 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning. We were all asleep, so we ended up waking up 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
And then my wife, she noticed. She's like, "Oh no, look!" So I ended up driving because I noticed there was a boat leaving at 6:30. So I went and I drove over to see if I could get on the standby. Yeah. And it's only it's a commercial boat only. Yeah. So I said, very good. So I'm over here in Port aux Basques now. I'm down at the beach here and just looking at the views and going on a nice walk. It's a beautiful day. Yeah. Yeah, and there's another thing I wanted just to have a quick mention about. I've been driving across Canada for 20 years, and I've never seen construction like they got there on Foxtrap. 2 hours I was in there a week ago trying to get through that. And I've been in big construction areas up on the 401 to Halifax. Now that's not, just driving through. I've been driving my whole time. And they can get construction on the highway so smooth. I don't know why us Newfoundlanders can't make it smooth. Yeah. And it takes forever.
We're not used to getting road work done, I guess, because you think they would make it a little smoother. Now, were you caught in it the day before they had those cross cuts in there because they filled them in since?
Yes, it was before that. It was before they had them big cross cuts, yes.
Yeah. So, you got caught in the bad stuff. So, I know I'm told it's a fair bit smoother now, for people getting through. It's still backed up, though, and I suspect if you're caught on a Sunday afternoon trying to get back into the city, it's probably a longer wait than, say, this afternoon or what have you. But yeah, no, it is it has been a concern. Government has tried to address it, I guess, as best they can. But when you've got a major route into the city, and there's only three really, down through Bay Bowls, come through Conception Bay South or Holyrood's Conception Bay South, and the main highway. When you got one of them blocked, the main one blocked off, it puts added pressure on the other roads. And of course, there was construction on Route 60 through Holyrood as well at that same time, so that didn't help anything. But yeah, you're right. Well, look. We're gonna reach out to Marine Atlantic, see if we can get an answer on that for you. Stay tuned, and hopefully we will be able to, and hopefully you'll hear something. And if you do hear something, give us a call, or anyone else out there that may have good information on what's happening with that run from Marine Atlantic that was supposed to go this morning, when it may not or run anytime today or tomorrow, and see what we can find out. Cody, thanks for raising this issue this morning.
Thank you, man.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Okay, we are going to go to line 2 now, where I have Roberta. Roberta, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Roberta, you got something wonderful to talk about. And just so everyone knows, you are the Associate Director of Canadian Blood Services, I believe, programs, operations, organs, and tissue donation and transplants and are you here in St. John's?
I am not. I'm actually based in Manitoba, but I am here in Quebec for the Canadian Transplant Games. So I'm very excited to talk about the Orgamites, who will also be making an appearance here at the Games.
Okay. All right. And you have something that's coming up here in St. John's as well, right?
Yes, we're really excited to open the Mighty Engine exhibit, which is a traveling exhibit that's designed to teach children about organs, health, and kindness by introducing them to the Mighty Orgamites, who are a team of 8 life-saving organs who are on a mission to inspire people everywhere to talk about organ donation and how to take better care of their health, each other, and our world.
Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about where it is, when it is, and what people can expect when they see it.
Great. The Fluvarium is where people can find the Mighty Engine exhibit this summer. It opened on July 2, and it will be there until mid-September, and that is open to everyone who attends with regular admission. So Chantel Butler and her team are ready to welcome everyone for a hands-on learning adventure where organs are engines, kindness is fuel, and health is the road to greatness.
So what are they going to see? Like you talk about the orgamites there and I guess representing the organs. What are you going to see when you get there?
Well, it's really been designed as a hands-on exhibit. So it's about play-based learning. So it's really for kids, teachers, students, families, the young at heart to really get to know organs and their function and how we can all work to keep them healthy.
What are you finding with regards to the need for organ donations and the and the actual number of people that are making the choice to donate?
Well, the need is great. I mean, there are more than 4,000 Canadians who are currently waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. And unfortunately, about 250 Canadians will die each year waiting for a transplant. And it's really amazing. Canadians, we know, are generous. And, you know, we've done polls, and over 90% of Canadians say, yes, we support organ donation, but we only have around 32% that have actually registered or had that conversation with their loved ones. So it's really something that's important. So family knows how to honor your decisions at end of life if donation is something that's important to you.
Yeah, and of course, educating the young people on the need and so forth. And I know that through a lot of health initiatives over the years, you know, trying to curb smoking and all these different things, the initiatives with young people are where you make the inroads. And is that the hope here now, is to inform young people about what they can do and the way they can help their friends and family and future generations and people they don't even know?
Well, exactly. That's what you just said, generation. So with an exhibit like this, we're really hoping to engage that next generation of donors, healthcare practitioners, and creating a culture of donation in Canada. So the exhibit really leans into, you know, learning more about your mighty organs and what they can do to help you and help others, encourage healthy habits, and then celebrate the powerful impact of kindness. Really, organ donation is the greatest gift, and, you know, it's supported by courage, compassion, and generosity.
Okay, so it's at the Fluvarium. It's already started, and it is there for how long?
It's there until September 14th, so you've got all summer to go down and check things out. They're open Saturdays and Sundays, as well as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're closed Thursday, Friday. So make some plans and head on down to check it out. It's great hands-on learning. There's a passport system. You can get stamps at each station, and it's really about teaching you and your kids and loved ones about organs and their functions, and there's different examples, there are activities. So, you know, with heart, we do some jumping jacks, and then you can feel the difference in your heart rate. So it's really an opportunity to learn, have some fun, get active, and then have some important conversations with your loved ones.
Okay, Roberta, well, thank you for the call this morning. And so it's at the Fluvarium. Be there till September 14th. You can drop by and learn a lot about organ donation and tissue donation and all kinds of other things, I'm sure. So thank you for the call. You have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
We're going to go to line one now, where we have Dave. Dave, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Darren. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you doing this morning?
I'm not doing too bad. As usual, listening to your show and listening to the problems, I guess, that have been created that we see unfolding as a result of a simple cancellation in a ferry, which doesn't have a replacement at this time during the busiest of times. The impact that has on everybody involved, from tourists to truckers who are trying to keep this province supplied, And it's not a new problem. It's not something that we can say we can blame on any one provincial government, no matter what party, no matter what jacket is in the seat at the time when governments change hands from successive government to the next one. This problem just travels right along with them. And it's something that our government needs, I guess, to realize, all facets of government, opposition, provincial MHAs, federal MPs, that this is a problem that we have been allowing the federal government to see expand and do nothing about for decades. It's a constitutional guarantee to us. I think it was term 32.1 under the Terms of Union, that this service is supposed to be a guaranteed right to us in Newfoundland. Now, we've also seen the federal government kind of play with that scenario. We remember the Rails to Roads agreement, which was absolutely a disaster in the way it was handled, the way it was spent, and what it
We didn't get as many roads as we thought we would, did we?
No, sir, we did not.
We got Twin to Whitburn, and that was about it.
Yep. And unfortunately, we hear most about this during tourist season because it's a problem that people impact in a new way and something unfamiliar to them. But it's like we've become too complacent about complaining about this issue ourselves. Like we've almost learned to take the inadequacies of the system and how it impacts our lives. And I made a comparison. I drew a comparison because I wrote a Facebook post this morning as I was thinking about this. If you shut down a portion of the Ontario Highway and denied the right to access that to Ontarians and Quebecers and whatever for certain and definable months of the year, predictably, but a constant problem where it could pop up in your face every now and again and say, okay, no, can't use the highway today. This would be a huge issue. And to say it's not comparable, it's totally comparable. It's our link. It was our guaranteed link that the federal government has constantly and 100. I don't blame Marine Atlantic, nor the people running it. They do the best with what they have.
Well, yeah, they're not funding it, right?
No.
The government's funding it, and they do with what they got. I mean, they're getting a big influx to fix up the shoreline infrastructure. Fair enough. But yeah, it's the same thing, though, Dave, isn't it? We just heard from a lady a minute ago about health care. Why are we still waiting 12 and 15 hours in emergency? Why is our lives thrown into complete chaos because Marine Atlantic has a mechanical issue with one of its ferries? You know, shouldn't we be beyond that now? Should we be somewhere further down the road on these services for the people of the province? And I wonder about our deal with Confederation and PEI's deal with Confederation. And did they do better in 1867 than we did in 1949?
Well, if you look at the way that the federal government has been treating things such as these nation-building projects, which we know Newfoundland doesn't have any, okay?
Happy Valley Goose Bay, I think, is the only one I've heard so far.
Yeah, okay, sorry. With this being because of a federal need, and that's most of the reason for that. But what I would have to suggest is this would certainly meet every criteria of a nation-building project. If a high-speed train as an option for travel in Ontario and Quebec has already been funded and already been pushed, then I can guarantee you that there's no criteria that we can't meet. And it's probably time that we've seen the formation of, I hate to say another committee or board or whatever, but you know, that's the facet that we use to get these things done. The Premier and Cabinet can't be expected to deal with all of this. Well, there are people that could be put on a committee that would be not really in an authoritative or decision-making process, but to go through this, to identify, after talking with the partners that need to be talked with, such as the trucking industry, and how they see the system as it operates and how it probably could be or should be improved. All of this coming together under one entity with one purpose, and not to be sidelined by anybody with the federal government or anybody saying we're going to do this or we're going to meet later. No, we're going to meet on this now. This has gone on long enough. We have been impacted by it long enough. We've been patient long enough, but we no longer are. Fix it.
Yeah, treated like the poor cousins of the country in a lot of respects. Investments from the federal government in our infrastructure has not always been great. We have the least number of federal public servants, I think, of any province in the country per capita, and we're dependent on right now. There's people across this province and across Nova Scotia as well that are dependent on a ferry that's broke down on the other side, and there's nothing there, no stopgap, no anything. Even the airlines that seem to be in disarray these days, there seems to be cancellations and problems all the time, at least can pull in a plane and back up a route in some cases, but here we are.
Exactly, sir.
Yeah.
They have alternates. They have choices in tough situations. We have none. And it's about time that changed, because if we're trying to build a tourism industry, we're trying to build things that would require access to the mainland, well, this is certainly a problem. It's not a new one. And I don't think it's impossible to fix. It just requires some effort, some money, and for the federal government probably to realize, say, hey, don't care that we've got a conservative government in Newfoundland. This makes sense. Should not be a political thing, as healthcare should never be a political thing. It should be depoliticized because it's part of the requirement of everyday life of every Newfoundlander here. So I think it's time that we put a single focus on the initiative and the effort to change this, rather than just talk about it as we've constantly done. Hear the truckers getting frustrated and talking about having to park trucks and whatever the case may be, or block off the access. That's not what needs to happen. What needs to happen is to realize the problem is there, and it's a problem for everybody, not just the ones that are actively complaining about it.
Yeah, and you get the sense sometimes that you get a day like today where people are completely inconvenienced, that you almost think that the people that can help with this are going, well tomorrow to be back on, so everything will be fine. But it's never fine. You can never make it up. You can never get back the time and the concerns and so forth. The vacations, the work, truckers, like you say, you don't recoup it. You just hope your losses aren't so great. A gentleman on today canceling rooms that he has to pay for because the cancellation time has passed, and was expecting to get up this morning and get on a ferry. So that's costing him money that, and nobody can afford to throw money around like that these days. You do the best you can. You want to go somewhere, you're going somewhere for work or whatever. You're doing the best you can, and but the system is not supporting you. It's difficult. I understand. Dave, is there anything else you want to say before we finish up with you this morning? We go with the break.
No, Bud, that's it. Excellent discussion. I'm glad to get it out there, and I really think that it's something that I'm sure that our Premier will recognize as a problem, and he'll have it on his list of things to do to fix. I'm sure he's got lots of priority there that probably supersedes this for a bit, but not for long. I'll be back to him again, and I'll say, listen, I think there's a way to fix this, and we should really approach it and do it now. Yep,
and we've been talking about this for 50 years.
Decades.
Give me a call in 50 years. If I'm still around, you're still around. We probably will be, I guess, hey? And see where we are. Maybe you'll be taking that. Maybe you'll be flying your own personal flying device over by then, and it won't matter anymore. But until that happens, we need Marine Atlantic, and we need that ferry going back across there. Maybe we need some new thinking in how these operations are funded and how the supports are in place. And and like you said, it's not Marine Atlantic's fault. It's not the workers' fault. It's none of that. It has to do with the supports that they're given by the people we elect.
Yep, and just like anything from a school bus contract in this province, if you take a list of runs, you're supposed to have replacements. Should you have breakdowns and whatever to replace it, so the system doesn't become interrupted. It should be the same way here. There should be swing vessels and extra vessels on during the busiest of times, and then of course if they sat when they're off, not being used in the busiest of peak times, they will be a great replacement when you have breakdown.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
I am going to line 2 where I have Andrew. Andrew, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Darren. How's it going?
Not bad, sir. What's on your mind today?
Well, I haven't called in a while, but I figured I'd call in with an update. Listeners who might have heard my story before, my name is Andrew Abbas. I'm from Goose Bay, Labrador. I was unlawfully detained following the Dunphy shooting by what appears to be 2 officers orchestrated it, one who was involved with the shooting and the other who was the best friend of the shooter. And this all came out through a police investigation back in 2021. And I've been continuing with the process ever since then. But in 2023, there was a move by the officers involved, the lawyers for the officers involved, very high-priced lawyers for the officers involved, to have that police investigation report removed from the adjudication process. And the end result of that was that a specific officer who's still an active duty superintendent with the RNC uttered a statement before the adjudicator that the police investigation found was completely unsupported and contradicted his own notes and the testimony of the other witnesses present. That's since evolved into a perjury investigation being carried by CERT. The file number is 2025-0040. And they've been providing me with regular monthly updates up until May. At this point, I haven't heard from them in quite some time, and I'm a little concerned because the way this whole process has been handled since it began, it's been treated like a political football. And I'm concerned that there's potentially political interference with the judicial process here in delaying it because of the optics involved. Like 2 of the officers that are implicated by this whole situation. One was a member of the Premier's security detail, and the other was a seconded member of the Premier's security detail, and they invoked their authority to do what they did. The police investigation found that they'd abused their authority to essentially silence a critic of how the shooting was being handled. And the chief and his deputy chief were forced to resign over the matter. You know, the last thing that they did was produce this police investigation. But yeah, that was like kind of their as they're being pushed out the door, they were not being allowed to hold officers accountable. And then the officers that were involved in the investigation, the ones that were being investigated directly, one got promoted to superintendent and the other became the chief of the RNC. So I'm a little concerned that the lack of a civilian oversight of the police is allowing this kind of political football to be kicked around between governments because they don't want to handle it. It's too much of a hot potato. And they're trying to keep the RNC happy. And they've even gone so far as to say, we have to address the creation of this oversight board with all the stakeholders. But if some of the stakeholders involved have a vested interest in delaying that process, because they could potentially be investigated by the civilian oversight board, like what does that say? Like how is the public supposed to put faith that this process is being handled fairly if it's always being treated specially? And this is just me. Like, I'm sure other people have been put through similar situations where police have abused their authority, but this is a clear situation where somebody was caught lying, and it's over 6 months now since all the investigation information was put forward. It's 2 months since his final notes were submitted, and yet they still haven't issued any updates or said what they're going to do. But the Justice Minister has been fully informed of this process the whole time. Yeah,
so Andrew, let me ask you there, where is it exactly now, and is all the information in as of yet? Because I know there were questions about, who could ask who questions and so forth, but with regards to the inquiry or the investigation. But where is it now exactly?
It's just sitting with CERT right now. They've got the police investigation. They've got all the testimony except for one of the witnesses, but that witness already testified during the police investigation. So they just wanted a phone call to corroborate with her, but she's been out of the country until recently. But I haven't heard anything back from them. They haven't asked, when will she be back? It's being allowed to just continue. And I've had to go through court processes where I'm trying to get this addressed, and I've raised the issues to the Supreme Court during the appeal of this, that, there was a lie that took place during the adjudication. And they were just like, well, we don't believe you. It's okay, but there's a police investigation that says that this officer's testimony, well, he gave it during the investigation itself, where it would have been obstruction of justice, was unsupported. The moment he repeated that lie before an adjudicator, it became perjury.
Yeah,
now, I'm actually looking forward to.
And Andrew, if I could, just to, because and I know that all this information you're intimate with, right? And not everybody that's listening is, myself included. But when you say CERT, are you talking about the Serious Incident Response Team?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So people know, and CERT has a mandate to investigate serious injury or death resulting from police actions. And what you're saying is that this thing is stalled, and you're waiting for a conclusion to that report.
Yes, and at the same time, like you've got the Justice Minister who's been informed that a senior officer is facing a charge of perjury. Like, I've seen no action from them to kind of mitigate the risk in that. Like,
and Minister Conway, have you reached out to Minister Conway Oppenheimer regarding that?
Not directly. I've reached out to the Crown repeatedly several times on the issue, and I might have sent her an email, but I've gotten no response. They are aware of who I am. Okay. I've been speaking with my local MHA, and he doesn't believe that it's possible to actually get justice out of this. Yeah. That there's just, the pockets are just too deep. They'll just tie it up in legal processes, because the accountability that would come from one officer being held accountable would then blow back and create a chilling effect on the rest of the force. Yeah. Like there's a vested interest right now in making sure that nothing proceeds out of this, because it could create that chilling effect where officers suddenly have to be sure that they're following the law when they detain people. Yeah. And I don't think that there should be a conflict.
That's the backbone of it, of course, and we need to know that there is proper oversight of police and responses. I know that they used to have, I don't even know if they have it anymore, the Police Complaints Commission and all that, but CERT should actually take care of that. I'll ask the guys here in the newsroom and folks in the newsroom to reach out to Justice and see if there's any sort of update on this, because it's been hanging for a while now. And of course, I know on the show previously that yourself and others have talked ad nausea about this and the concerns that come out of the way it all seemed to have been handled in a very, I don't know, but odd, but it just seemed to get convoluted after a point where we weren't sure, which way was up, which way was down with this investigation. So I'll get the newsroom to reach out and see if we can get a response to see where this thing is. Andrew,
one more piece.
Go ahead. Yep.
And speaking about delays, there's also a human rights file on this issue that has been before the Commission since 2021, when that police investigation came out. I haven't heard from them in years now. The last I heard, I think, was in 2023 or early 2024. I was told it was before the Commissioner, and it's been radio silence from them. They won't return phone calls. They don't respond to emails.
Yeah, who's the Commissioner in that? Who's that now?
Carrie Magid, I think.
Yeah, it's changed.
Carrie Magid? I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not sure who the current commissioner is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that's, and of course, and when you get personalities that change and governments that change and all that, it also probably slows things down a little bit as well. But
I kind of hope that the change in government would, they'd try to keep this at arm's length and make sure that they didn't become implicated or involved directly. But now I'm not so sure, because allowing an active duty officer to maintain that kind of authority over other people when they could be facing, they are facing criminal charges at this point.
Yeah, okay.
The charges haven't been pressed, because that would start the Jordan limits. But I'm quite positive.
I think that not just yourself, but I think the entire province would like to see this come to a reasonable conclusion at some point. But then, Andrew, thank you for raising it again. Like I said, we'll see if the newsroom can get some sort of update on this and see where we go from here. But keep raising it, because it's an important matter. It's an important incident that needs to be we need to be reminded of, and of course there needs to be justice to the end at some point. And like you said, it's one of those things where sometimes the trail gets too cold to ever really get satisfactory justice in some situations, doesn't it? All right.
Not quite, because the trail already exists with the police investigation. I'm not Like it's just a matter of like whether the public's awareness of it allows it to be swept under the rug at this point. That's the way I view it.
Fair enough.
It's been kept silent. Thanks for letting me come on, though.
Thanks.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Okay, I am going to line 1, where I have Yvonne. And Yvonne, welcome to the Open Line show this morning.
Oh, thank you very much.
What's on your mind this morning, Yvonne? I think you're replying to
I have to
caller
say that
from
I
earlier.
was one of the very loyal watchers of Tommy Hunter as well.
There you go. Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, and it sticks in your mind, doesn't it? There's parts of it that you'll never forget,
yes.
right?
No. I mean, I remember I used to work, and when I come home that night, that's the night I used to do my housework, and I used to do it to listen to Tommy Hunter.
There was nothing offensive about the Tommy Hunter show. It was it was good music. It was the top music of the day. Mm-hmm. It also mixed in some of the the older country music. It was there was of course the gospel part of it that he always included, and
very much so.
And we saw some big acts that we had never thought we'd see, here in Canada, and of course you saw that. So yeah. It was good. Yeah. So what's on your mind this morning? I think you're reacting to the sense, the smell sense.
I don't know if it's. I'm not really complaining. I'm just trying to make people aware of how serious it is. And it's not something that's in people's mind, because a lot of people that I deal with, they think it's just me. But I was diagnosed with an allergy with the fragrance and scents and everything. And fragrance and scent-free is 2 totally different things. Number 1.
Okay.
And I went to a dermatologist. Did the patch testing, and number 1 on my allergies is fragrance, and it's very high. And I've been dealing with this now for the past maybe 20 years. And I don't know if I was born with it, but it just came on me, and as each year goes on, it gets worse and worse. And right now, I can't find anything that really works for it. I'm on some allergy tablets, but it doesn't make it go away. Like, for instance, if I decide to go into the mall, these pills are not going to help me to get over the situation when I get out of the mall, because it's on my hair, it's on my clothes, it's everywhere.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's almost like one of those airborne allergies, really, isn't it? Because it's a mist in the air that hovers, I suppose, and of course that's why we smell it in the air. It's not because it's invisible. It's actually a substance that's in the air, and it sticks to you, and you carry it with you. I suppose you got to get a wash and all of that to try to free yourself from it. Tell me now.
I always go with a change of clothes and a hat to put on my head. But
what's
also,
the difference then? You just tell me the difference between. And you mentioned it earlier, the difference between scent-free and of course the perfume, the smell of these things. What's the difference?
Well, I'm no expert, but I've done a lot of research, and somebody can come on and say I'm wrong. But what I found out is that scent-free is still not free of the fragrance, the toxics, because it's got something in it that takes the smell away. But fragrance-free is absolutely free of any of the toxics that's supposed to be in a smell, because that's what fragrance means. Fragrance is a catch-all word for the toxic things you have to put in to a perfume or to anything to make it smell.
Okay, so if I've got something, I don't know, a deodorant that says no odor, that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have what it is that would create a problem for people that have an allergy to fragrance.
That's right. That's exactly right. And the fragrance is, like I said, it is a group of toxic things that's put into an item like perfume. It could be, I'm allergic to laundry detergent, I'm allergic to dryer sheets, I'm allergic to shampoos, I'm allergic to anything with it in a soap or anything. Like, for everything I have got to be fragrance-free or I can't use it.
And what does it do to you, Yvonne?
I get overwhelmed. I get a sick head. I get to the point my husband says my eyes are almost closed, and I just don't know. I'm just kind of out of it. Like, people look at me and say there's something wrong with her.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, and look, and I know later in her life, my mother had a real issue with that. Her eyes would, get red and wet and so forth, and it was very hard on her. Now, she was older, too, and, of course, it's exacerbated any of her situations. But, no, it's very real. So, what is your recommendation, I suppose, because Chess was kind of saying, like, the mall should do something about this, but I mean it's hard to regulate these sorts of things. We have many buildings now, like you say, are scent free. Does that mean they're fragrant free? They may not be aware of the difference.
No, and a lot of people are really not taking it seriously of what they can do to somebody else, because I'm lucky enough that I don't go into anaphylactic shock. I don't do that, but for instance, I don't close off. Like a lot of people with allergies like I do, I mean, they'll close off their breathing pipe. They can't breathe. But there's people are like that, and it's serious. It's very serious. And I feel as this comes out in the public more and more, which it is, that you're going to see down the road, not my day maybe, but you're going to see perfumes and fragrances being banned, like smoking in public areas.
Yeah, you may be right. Yvonne, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because, I talk to a lot of people realize what I'm like. And as soon as I speak to someone, yeah, I got that too. Yeah. I'm like that. But people are afraid to speak up.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because then you're up against people that go, oh, what's wrong with you? Don't be so foolish. Right. Okay, well, anyways, Yvonne, thank you for raising that and pinpointing the differences there that I wasn't aware of, and probably a lot of people also aren't aware of. So we are after the break time. Yvonne, thank you for...
I just want to say that people that are like me, please speak up.
Yes. There you are.
Okay.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Okay, thank you.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
I'm going to go to line one right now, where I have Connie. Connie, welcome to Open Line. I think we've had a few conversations in the past, if I'm not mistaken.
We certainly have. Many.
Yes, many, absolutely. Connie, in your role now, what are you calling about?
Well, I'm a board member with Miles for Smiles Foundation, which began by Bev Moore Davis. Bev is a survivor of child abuse, physical and sexual, and she wrote a book called White Picket Monsters, telling her story, which I'd highly recommend because it really underscores how the system let Bev down, actually. And a couple of really poignant points, I guess, in her book that touched me was that her school was her safe zone. Bev didn't like to see the weekends coming or holidays coming. I just can't imagine as a child how that would make one feel, knowing that you just wanted school to continue 24/7. So that was one of the things in Bev's story that really jumped out to me. And, of course, I was aware of her story long before the book was published. But in any event, a number of things. And Bev also talked about how it affected her health and right down to her cell level. So that's described in the book as well. And it's really worth reading if you're trying to understand about the gaps in the system. And unfortunately, we're still seeing many of those gaps. So, and just to, I guess, highlight that point, the numbers for June month, and what we do is we count the numbers of cases that are on the dockets for all 10 courtrooms in the province. So for June month, we're looking at 436 cases, which is significantly up. 436 cases in that month throughout the province, and 68 different people were charged. What I'd like to note about the numbers, as I usually do, is this is a very small proportion of what's actually happening. It's what we call the tip of the iceberg, because only 10% of crimes against people get reported in the first place, and a far significant lower number go to court. So this is just scratching the surface.
Yeah, and Connie, we know there's inequities in supports around the province. Even though in the metro area there are more supports than anywhere, you're still in the low percentages of reporting, I'm sure. And of course, and the further away you go from that center, the number probably gets lower again. And you mentioned the book and the note about school was the safe place, and I think it's incumbent on all people that are involved. And I know that's more mindful now, and there's education and there's reporting rules in place. But whether you're a coach, a guide leader, whatever it is you're doing that involves young people, you have to have background checks, of course. And Connie, as you know, and I've often said this to people, it doesn't tell you what people are up to. It only tells you what people have been caught for. But you have to be diligent in knowing that you may be, working with children that may be having the best time of their life when they're with you, because you don't know what baggage that they have to deal with elsewhere. And of course, it's extremely important that that everybody do their due diligence in this aspect.
Well, absolutely, and it's so much deeper than that, because we always talk about, and people think, oh, that sounds homey and it sounds hokey and everything, but we talk about kindness in life being an important element, and whether it's a child or whether it's an adult, you don't know what that person is going through. There's so much anxiety, depression, mental health issues in our society, and kindness costs nothing. You have no idea what happens below the surface. It's akin to what you were describing to a previous caller there a little while ago about not knowing the nuances of cases. And it's so true that you just don't know unless you have all the facts in front of you. And we try to present those facts. They're in black and white each month, but there's so much more that's happening. One of the trends that we're seeing, we have so many different types of offenses taking place. I've talked about these before too: sexual assaults, interference, invitation to sexual touching for children, luring children through the internet, and distribution of child pornography. We're not calling it that anymore now, and I was quite relieved, actually, that the federal government now has banished that term, so we don't use that anymore, and there are reasons for it, but now we're referring to that kind of material as child sexual abuse and exploitation material. It's a little bit of a clumsy acronym, CSAEM, but that's what we're going to be using from now on. And, we are seeing a real increase in that. One of the resources that I checked 3 years ago, actually over 3 years ago, Dr. John Garahomo, every 2 minutes in this world, a child is being prepared for sexual exploitation and human trafficking every 2 minutes. And I would suspect that with that statistic being 3.5 years old, that we're probably down to a minute now based on the numbers of cases that we're seeing.
Connie, do you find any comfort in the federal government's restrictions on social media that may help cut back some of this exploitation?
Yes, I had that call with Brian a while back. I was asked my opinion on what the premier in Saskatchewan, I believe it was doing. And, a lot of people argued that it should be up to the parents. The parents should be responsible yes, it was Premier Scott Moe, actually, and talking about how social media affects children. And what we're seeing is that these polls that suggest parents should be responsible, well, we all know that parenting styles are very, very different. Some parents will be vigilant about that and others won't. So I believe we must have standards because it's just too serious an issue. The Online Harms Bill C-63 in Canada actually outlines how teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media double their risk of poor mental health outcomes. And we've talked about this many, many times on this show about the upriver effect. And we're seeing that all the time, where children, people in general, are falling into the river, and we're fishing them out years down the road with all kinds of issues that could be prevented in the first place. And one of the things that kind of, I guess, frustrates us, I won't say disturbs us, but frustrates us, and it's disturbing as well, but is that there's no government department that's officially responsible for the prevention work. Yeah. It's a reactionary thing, and that's not doing it. And the reason it's not helpful to have a more comprehensive strategy around prevention is because we're seeing the numbers go up. So something has to change. Something needs to be different. If the numbers are increasing, then what aren't we doing?
Yeah.
So that's the spin that we try to put on our work, and the Miles for Smiles Foundation has a lot of information. We're currently updating our website, and we're going to be putting these numbers for each month. They will be on the website, and we would encourage people to go and look because the numbers for July are not looking much better. And it's sad because, well, it's always sad, even if there's one or two cases. But normally over the summer months, with court being closed for a portion of the time, we see the numbers going down because of less court days, but that's not the case this month coming up. So it's really worrisome. We're seeing more and more online information all the time. You know, we've seen warnings from the RNC and RCMP in this province about the group 764, and maybe we can talk about that next time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Connie. And I am up against the newscast here now for 10 o'clock, but, you know, as serious as all agencies that are involved in this are taking it, we need to leap a lot further, and the supports are the issue, I suppose, and the information. And of course, thank you for Miles for Smiles for sharing the information. Thanks for coming on the show and reminding all of us of to be aware, to be responsible, and to do our part in making sure that things are reported when they need to be. Connie, thank you so much for calling this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
Okay. Speaking of media, I am going to go to line one where I have Ruth. Ruth, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. Not too bad. What's on your mind today?
First of all, I wanted to say that it's been very enjoyable to listen to you this last week, and I find that you're a very patient man and treat your callers with the utmost of respect, and I enjoy you on Open Line.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, and Ruth, I'm not going to give you any special treatment because of that.
No, boy. I'm only telling the truth as I see it. I want to talk to you about my favorite person, and that's Tommy Hunter. I was a Newfoundland girl in the late 50s, early 60s that went into the armed forces. And when I got married, to come home would be very expensive to get married. My husband was from Newfoundland, and I'm a Newfoundlander first. I fought to be a British subject when I joined the forces, and I'll always be a British subject. So anyhow, I'm getting ahead of my story. When we decided to get married, it was kind of expensive to come home, and we were stationed. I was in Camp Borden, and my husband was in Clinton. My partner was in Clinton, Ontario at that time. So anyhow, we decided to get married in London. My sister was in London. And we got married in London. When we went to see the minister in London, we got married at Grace United Church on Fraser Road in London. The minister told us that Tommy Hunter was married there. I was so proud because that was part of Newfoundland for me.
Yeah, he's
Tommy
from London,
Hunter,
right? Tommy was from London, Ontario.
Yeah, Tommy was from London, and I was so proud. I walked down the aisle in Grace United Church on Fraser Road. So anyhow, after we got married, of course, in those days, women, if they got married, they couldn't stay in the forces. If they got pregnant, they couldn't stay in the forces. And that's in my time now. And I don't consider myself an old woman. So anyhow, when we got married, we moved to Clinton, Ontario, where my husband was stationed. And we moved into a trailer park, Beckett Trailer Park. And it was a beautiful place, a lot of armed forces people there close to the base. So anyhow, it was like a homely place, like your friends were all around you. So the lady that owned the place, Mrs. Beckett, I was pregnant with my first child. Anyhow, she called me one morning, and she said, "Come over when you get a chance." And I said, okay. She was very friendly. Her and her husband, Frank, owned a trailer court. She was Mrs. Beckett, but he was Frank. And so anyhow, when I got a chance, it was around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, I went over, and we had a little chat and that, and the door opened up. And who walked in but Tommy Hunter? I went flat on the floor, out like cold. And anyhow, when I was coming to, I looked up, and there was Tommy Hunter. Honest to God, it was the greatest day of my life, and I'll never, ever forget it. I'm 83 years old, and Tommy Hunter was my idol. Never mind Elvis Presley or any of them. Tommy Hunter was my idol. I watched it on a little tiny television when I lived in Newfoundland. And he followed me all over wherever I went. After my son was born, I moved to Northern Ontario. TV wasn't very good up there, but my husband was a radar tech. And he got this little television rigged up. I mean, if you put your two hands together, it wasn't close enough. But he had it rigged up enough that I could see Tommy Hunter. And on Friday, when I heard that news, it was like part of me went. Yeah. Part of me went. And I'm still feeling sad. But I'm happy for the life that he gave me, the happiness that he gave to us.
Yeah, the effect that some of these people can have, and of course, especially when it happens when you're young and carries with you throughout your life. Ruth, you got to tell me though, when you went flat when he walked in, what was he saying to you when you got up?
He held my hand. And I haven't washed it since.
Now, I know that's not true. But what, did you have a conversation with him? Did you have a chat at all?
I can't remember. But he came up to buy Mr. Beckett's boat. He came up to Clinton, which is about I'd say 50 miles from London. And he came up to Clinton to buy Mr. Beckett's boat. And, of course, Mrs. Beckett knew that I loved him, right? But I can't remember. I cannot remember. But I can still see his face.
Yeah, I bet you can. Hey, I think we all can, really. You know, anybody, like I said, of my vintage, or you know, or before or just after. You know, and I know there's probably young people out there going, "Who's Tommy Hunter anyway? Isn't he a pitcher in Major League Baseball or something?" You know,
this is the early '60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And I had a sister. And, I mean, she was all crazy about Elvis Presley. I couldn't understand all of that. But Tommy Hunter was always, and he still is. He still is. I'd like to thank his family for the life that he gave us, Newfoundlanders.
Yeah, well, Ruth, I appreciate you calling in this morning, and sounds to me in your life, much like Tommy Hunter sang of his theme song, Traveling Man, you were a traveling lady, and he seemed to have followed you wherever you went and meant a lot to you, and I appreciate you sharing your story this morning.
And my husband knew when Tommy Hunter came on to be quiet.
Yes, I bet he did.
Right. Be quiet.
Yes, that's right.
Be quiet. Yeah, and thank God for his 89 years.
Yes. Okay, Ruth. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your story. Greatly appreciate it.
And you have a good day, and you don't change either, because I really enjoy listening to you.
All right, Ruth.
Have a good day.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
We are going to go to line 4, where I have Mary. Mary, good morning and welcome to Open Line.
Oh, good morning, Darren. How are you?
Not too bad,
Darren,
Mary.
I just want to speak briefly about the health care, which is brought up often. Now, my granddaughter went to the hospital last Thursday night. Thursday at 2 o'clock in the day. She got out at 5 o'clock in the morning. She fell and had a vicious headache and everything. And she sat there for all them hours, and all they did was took her in and pushed her head back and forth and sent her home. And she still got the headache and everything. Now, you know what happened to, I forget his name now, on the boat that fell, and they sent him home. So, you know, I'm wondering what's going on with the health care today.
Well, first of all, if she fell and hit her head, and I can tell you that pretty well everyone knows that there's a concussion protocol that you go through, because you want to make sure that the person that's actually hurt themselves hasn't had a concussion, because that can be life-threatening, of course, if not treated properly. What's her state? What's the state of her now?
Well, she still got a bit of a headache and everything, but what do you do when you go to the hospital and spend all these hours there, and then you go in and this is what they do to you, push your head back and forth and do nothing?
Yeah, did you get an X-ray?
What can you do? This is the health care. No, nothing. Nothing.
Boy, that's and where was that? Was that Health Sciences, St. Clair's, or somewhere else in the province?
No, that was at St. Clair's.
St. Clair's, yeah. That's an odd sort of response to an injury like that. Of course, you know, I mean, I can't speak to what the triage was finding, but still, I mean, you know, to do that, to not if you've had an injury and not get an X-ray or some sort of scan to find out what's happening inside that you can't see. I've never heard of anyone just grabbing somebody's head and moving it around to see what happened.
Well, that's all they did. They pushed it around from side to side, apparently, and sent her home with nothing. I think they told her to take Tylenol or something. I'm not 100%. But, I mean, you know, this is ridiculous, but I'm not letting this go, because she could have went home and went to sleep, and she could have just died.
And she went there at 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
2 o'clock in the day, and got out at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. And she never had an X-ray? She never had anything?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
And it's scary, really. It's very scary.
It is, yeah. 15 hours.
It's scary what's going on with the health care now, and nobody seems to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're that busy that they do things as quick and get rid of people or what. I don't know.
I just don't understand, honestly, Mary, and and maybe there's people out there that can explain it to me better than I can understand. But in this day and age, why people are sitting for 15 hours in emergency? There's got to be a better system, an expanded triage, separation of the types of things people go to emergency for. I would hope that if we can ever get the staffing to work in these emergency care units that the government is building, that will alleviate some of that. But to go over to the emergency, to be there 15 hours and basically go home, and then of course end up in worse shape than when you went in the first place is not great. I just don't understand the wait time thing. Why is there not some sort of report that can identify what it is you need to do for wait times? Or is it that we know exactly what it is, that the officials know exactly what it is, and they just don't want to or can't afford to spend the money on it? I'd love to know the answer to that.
Well, Darren, I don't really understand any of it. It's like it a long time, Darren, because I broke my wrist in 2014 and I was there from 5 o'clock in the evening till 7 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So it hasn't changed a big lot.
No, I've been there in the last 3 years and spent more than 12 hours in emergency for something to get looked at, and it wasn't serious, but it needed to be looked at, and the unfortunate part is it happened in the evening, so I had I couldn't go see my doctor, or I couldn't drop into the drop-in clinic, it's too much on people, and of course, and I feel the worst for people with different challenges, seniors who are having an awful time just getting there, to the emergency room up out of the parking lot.
I'm going to say something. I think I'd rather stay home and sit there, and it's just to sit home for 12 or 14 hours as to go there.
Well,
that's the way I look at it. Unless you think you're really maybe going to pass out, they might take you in then. I don't know if they would or not.
Yeah, Mary, I've done it.
Darren, look, I don't want to take up no more of your time, but I appreciate you really listening to me, because it really boggles the mind what's going on today. It really, I've seen so much of it. I don't know the explanation to it all.
Yeah, I wish they could find some relief for it. And thank you for calling, Mary. All the best to your daughter and yourself, and hopefully it doesn't get any worse for her.
No, it's my granddaughter, Darren.
Your granddaughter, yeah. Make sure that they keep a close eye on her over the next little bit, because a head injury is a head injury. Yeah.
Yes, I thank you for taking my call, and thanks, David, for calling me back. Thank you.
This is the best of VOCM Open Line.
We're going to go to line 5, where we have Maureen. Maureen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Darren. How are you today?
Very good, Maureen. What's on your mind?
Well, there a little while back, you had a lady on who spoke about her allergic reaction to strong scents.
Yes, we did.
Right. So I can totally sympathize with her. I have the same issue. Mine doesn't seem to be as so extreme as hers, but like a couple of years, a little over a year and a half ago, I always, for a lifetime, as long as I can remember, the past 20 years, had what they call a sensitivity to strong smells. And the past year and a half or more, it just got very, very bad. It got 10 times worse. And then I developed asthma. So through various tests and scans and blood work, I'm treated for asthma, but nobody could still tell me why I was having this reaction to strong scents, right?
Yep.
Because there's no allergy test for that. Like, I went and had an allergy test in St. John's, and when they told me what the different things were, I'm like, I'll pass this. I'm not allergic to this stuff, grass and pollen and all that. It's just perfumes, household cleaning products. It's really bad.
How does it affect you, Maureen?
Pardon?
How does it affect you?
Well, it happened actually as I was going to a doctor's appointment in the hospital. And when I got in, my blood pressure was bust. My head was about to explode, and I hadn't brought my inhaler with me. So, like, they just got me an inhaler, and after a while, after I used that, it went down. But, like, my blood pressure goes really, really high. And then I can't breathe, of course.
Yep.
So on one of my visits, on my last visit to the lung specialist I'm seeing in St. John's, and I wanted this lady to know this, the lady that was on. He happened, he was looking at my test results that I had done and my last blood work. And I had told him about this reaction I have, and he couldn't give me an answer. But when he looked at my blood work, he could see. So when you have blood work done, there's all those different things, that within the blood work that's tested, things you don't even realize.
Yeah.
So he told me it's called eosinophils in your blood, right?
Yep.
So there's different ophils, I will say, in your blood work when it's broken down.
Yep.
But the eosinophils are what controls your allergic reaction to different things.
Yeah.
And mine were high.
Yep.
Out of whack. So
it sounds like you've got the same scenario that Chess had when he called earlier talking about his reaction to the perfume in the mall.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've gotten the way I would wear a mask going into a shopping area.
Yeah.
Because even if you walk by someone that has a strong perfume on, okay, I got to go out to the car, get my inhaler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when this lung specialist told me that, I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. Because after a while, people would say, well, geez, that can't be. You can't be like that. But there is an explanation for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what I do is I control my home environment, my shed. I control what I can control. And what I have no control over, I have to avoid, or I have to wear a mask.
Yeah, and that's all you can do, Maureen, is protect yourself because the world is the world. You raising this and the two callers that called earlier speaking about their experiences raises it well. And then, of course, the information you have about getting tested and so forth and finding out what it is key. Maureen, we're past the 12 o'clock news time, but is there something you wanted to say just to finish up?
No, I just wanted to tell that lady to make sure I checked my blood work online, make sure she checked for these eosinophils, and that might give her a clue. And no, it is real. It is very real, and it's not pleasant, but you do what you can to protect yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the more information shared, like the information you had, the information she had, and Chess's goes to help people, and of course it gives them some insight into what they have, and of course it is real, and you suffer it, and you know what it's like. So, Maureen, thank you for giving us this call this morning. Appreciate it. You have a great day. I want to thank all the people who called this morning. We've had a wonderful show. Certainly, I hope it was entertaining, but it was certainly informative as well. We had some great callers on this morning. Thank you. Take care now.